Good afternoon. Now, welcome to the Palava World Cup. This is Sports Palava, and my name is Ken Ochonogo. In Rio, Barakana, we are in Lagos. And I tell you, we are all excited. How do you start from the end? Normally, you start from the beginning, but today we are starting from the end. The beginning of the end, or the end of the beginning, or the end of the end. I think it should be the end of the end, because it is at the end of the end that you pick up the World Cup and you showcase it to the world and you say, we are the champions. And then we are looking ahead 24 hours to the kickoff. We are looking at who is going to win the World Cup. How is it possible? But that is what we are looking at today. Not just who, but which continents. You look at the World Cup from 1930 that the Uruguayans hosted. They hosted and won. And 1930 they hosted and won. And then it didn't come back there until 1950 because it was in France and Italy in 34 and 38. So in 1950 it was in Brazil. And I tell you, the Uruguayans break the Brazilian heart. It didn't come back again until 1962 years. And that was in Chile. And I tell you, another South American thing, Brazil won. In 1970, Mexico took the mantle, and again, it was Brazil. And people were saying, how far? Then in 78, Argentina hosted and won. And then South America said, no way. And then the team in 1986 came to Central America. It was Mexico. Mexico that hosted in 70, and then this time, it was, yes, the Argentines again. And then they won. And after that, it was 1994 when it was the United States of America and Brazil won. So I tell you, 1930, 1950, 1962, 1970, 1986, 1978, 86, and 1994, all it was Uruguay, Brazil, and Argentina. That is, when you look at Italy with their 4 World Cup trophies, Germany with 2, France, England, the other 4 teams that have won the World Cup. Spain, yes. None of them have crossed into that, the South America and took the trophy with them. Is it an impossibility? Will that possibility become will that impossibility become a possibility this time around? That is what we are looking at. Or is it victory, as usual, for the South Americans? We are welcoming him back. He's been here, and then he went a whole absence without leave. But Ikene is back. And he's saying, it will take an immovable object to move an immovable object. I don't know. Ekene Enechiku, how are you?
Good afternoon. Nice to be here again.
1 million years no see.
Other commitments.
It's
nice to be here.
Yeah, and I hope you're not shaking, you're not shivering, you're not afraid.
Of course. You know, the offspring of a lion can never eat grass.
The offspring of a lion cannot eat grass.
This is my terrain. And as a veteran gladiator,
yes,
I cannot learn how to,
use your left hand at old age.
It's not possible.
All right. So so you think the trophy is not leaving South America?
Basically, just like you have introduced, the World Cup is one of the greatest events on earth. And it is a competition of tradition and history. And over time, history and tradition has shown that the South Americans and the Europeans hold sway as far as the World Cup is concerned. No other continent has been able to win it, except for Europe and South America. But interestingly, each time it has been hosted in the Americas, like you've enumerated, in 1930 in Uruguay, in 1950 in Brazil, in Chile 1962, in 1970 Mexico, of course 78 Argentina, 1986 in Mexico, and of course in the United States in 1994. All have been won by Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay. So the Europeans have not been able to cross into that territory for years, since 1930. And like I've said, since it's a competition of tradition and history, it doesn't change. It is a competition for you to win. There are certain structures that have to be on ground. And that's why only 7 nations have been able to win it since it started in 1930. So basically, this time around, I don't expect the South Americans to allow it go. Now,
hold it there. Tio is here. Tio, one of our recent gladiators, and I tell you, he comes here all pack, all action. Theophilus Agbonlao, is it a case of the cost of bailout, man? Do you think this time around the trophy will cross the Atlantic?
Like you said, tradition and history, you wouldn't want to believe that it will be broken. But I'm saying here that the European team so far, they've showed over the last couple of years, last couple of World Cups, that they have what it takes to win the World Cup anywhere. Yes, it was hosted in Africa for the first time in 2010. Spain came around and they picked it up. The last two World Cups, 2006 and 2010, was an all-European affair. Let's not forget that with the way the caliber of players we are seeing coming up in Europe, as in recent years, I don't see any reason why they can't come to South America and pick up these trophies. Let's not forget that the players that are playing this tournament, playing in South America, like the Messi of this world, the Neymars, the Angel Di Marias, the Agueros, fine, they're in fantastic form. They're doing very, very okay. Let's not forget, these guys play in Europe. The Europeans, they know how they play, they know how they operate. Their modus operandi is understanding. Everybody knows, we all know how they function. But coming into the World Cup, it's a different game plan entirely. And Europe will shock the whole world and probably pick it up in South America.
Europe will shock the whole world. They play, like you said. He said they know these players inside out. So it's not as if they're moving into a dark terrain, into an abyss, into somewhere to say, okay, in a closet that they cannot come out. That these guys are, they're open book, you can read them.
The question is, they play in and out, they know themselves. Have they gone to South America to play? The names you mentioned, the Di Marias, the Neymars, and the rest of them, all play in Europe. So it is even possible for the South Americans to go to Europe and win it and clinch it. But yes, because they play in Europe.
Okay,
they play in the best leagues. They play in Spain. They play in Italy. They play in England. They are used to the terrain.
Brazil,
does a Ronaldo play in Brazil? Does what are their which names are you going to mention now? The Europeans, probably. Do they play in South America?
Even Pele came out as 2 days ago to come out. He said,
"What did he say?
I love Xavi Hernandez." You just talked about the Cristiano Ronaldo.
Has Xavi Hernandez played in South America before?
You don't need to play in South America before.
Let's not forget we are talking about tradition. We are talking about tradition. That is the foundation of that. No. You cannot forget
the teams. Can we talk the teams? Can we talk the teams?
Okay.
Now, if you say yes, that the team that will win it will come from Europe, which teams have the chance? Is it England? Is it Croatia?
Thank you very much. Now, let's look at Italy. Italy, calm down. With the Cesare Pandrelli.
What has he done?
Forget what he has done.
Has he won any
He got to the final of the Euros.
Has he won any Scudetto?
Calm down. Now,
has he won any
calm down. Will you calm down? Now, let's go to France. Let's go to France.
Scolari was a World Cup winner.
Oh, what about
he won it?
What about Deschamps?
You were talking
about Deschamps?
Deschamps
is a captain France in World Cup in 1998.
What has he won as a coach?
Forget what has he won as a coach.
Let me tell you.
He brings
I want to say the French team is going beyond the quarterfinals. The French team is most disorganized team.
In one way,
he didn't even go with Nasri.
Forget not going with Nasri. In 1998, Cantona didn't go to the World Cup. Ginola didn't go to the World Cup. Papin didn't go to the World Cup. And they won the World Cup with the World Cup.
Because they were organized.
That's the idea. So a manager that has the guts to drop a player like Sami Nasri, he knows what he's doing. You can't tell me that he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
That is crazy.
He now brings me to a Vicente Del Bosque. Del Bosque has won the World Cup. He has won the Champions League. He has won the La Liga.
He had a pedigree.
He had a pedigree. And don't you now, he had won the Champions League. He has won the European
Gentlemen. All right. Let there be peace in the house a bit. Okay. We want to hear from you. You are hearing them. You are hearing them. They are telling you, the players and the coaches. And then let's just hear from you at home. Do you think Spain, they did impossible when they defended the Euros? Do you think they can also defend the World Cup? Will it be all the trophies, 2 European Championship and 2 World Cup for Spain? The young German team, do they have a chance? The experienced Italians, they didn't come over there. People said the Argentines alluded to the youth. Messi need this to be one of the greats. Is it possible? And the Uruguayans, Suarez. Then the Brazilians, their hosts. They cried in 1930. Are they crying again? No team has hosted twice and lost twice. Spain, unbeatable.
They are beatable. In the Confederations Cup, we saw it. This Brazilian team totally decimated them. It was 3-0. It was an embarrassment. I was even ashamed for them. The defending champions were decimated, torn apart by these young, elegant Brazilians, marshaled by Scolari, the veteran himself, the man who has seen it all. He won in 2002 when it was hosted in Asia. Just like he was talking about, Spain won in Africa. But it was also hosted in Asia And Brazil won with
Spain traditionally.
So you're talking about now Brazil, they're at home again, and just to have mentioned, in 1950, they lost out, surprisingly, to Uruguay. Now, you don't expect Brazil to allow that to happen again. Now, against the background of all the protests, all the economic issues, and the rest of them, the only thing that the players will do for their nation